Every police officer has stories. Some are funny, some are confronting, some you'll never read in a headline. Roger Mayer's had a long career in the Northern Territory and New South Wales Police Force, and he's got a few stories to tell. Tall tales and true, real Australian police stories. And yes, sometimes there are quiet shifts. They just don't make the podcasts. Or maybe some will.
Police, I'll send the dog.
BKG, any dog on channel?
Dog 11 on channel, go.
Dog 11, a 10:15 Bear Street, Smithville, re-break and enter in progress.
Dog 11, copy, 5 minutes. Dog 11, off at the scene now. Person's decamping, releasing the dog.
This podcast contains discussions about real policing experiences, crime, prison, violence, and adult themes. Some episodes include coarse language and may not be suitable for listeners under 18. Stories shared on this podcast come from policing experiences in both the Northern Territory and New South Wales, including time spent working in the dog squad. Some stories involve Indigenous Australians due to the nature of policing work in the Northern Territory. These stories are shared from personal experience and are not intended to stereotype or disrespect any individual or community. Some names and identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to episode 11 of Tall Tales and True. I'm here with Roger Mayer, the author of Tall Tales and True, the book. How are you, Roger?
I'm very well, I thank you, Deb. How are you?
I'm good. Very good, thank you.
Good.
How's your week been?
Week's been good, been fairly busy, doing a bit of training, a couple of things on. Yeah, promoting the new book that's not out yet.
Yeah, tell us about, I was actually there, so I know what happened. But
you were my publicist for the day. Go on.
What did we do on Monday?
Monday, you and I, and we took Ron, my father-in-law, out of the village, the retirement village, to the fraternity club in Fairy Meadow, Wollongong, to talk to about 80 lovely ladies from the Wollongong Probus Club. If you don't know what Probus is the short for Professional Businesswomen's Group. They retired businesswomen.
I actually didn't know that.
That's what Probus, I think it means, professional business. I've done a few over the years. They're always very good because they're very welcoming. They're pro-police. They love to hear about the dog. And
Yep.
I love talking
Yes, you do.
to them. So it was, I think they gave me half an hour and I shut up after an hour and a half. We only lost 2 or 3 that had to go because they had to get back home for their afternoon tea. They had to go.
Yeah, no, it was a good talk. I enjoyed it.
That's good. I enjoyed doing it. And then afterwards, everyone, came up. They're very kind and tell me about their dog and different stories.
Yeah.
And a couple of surprising stories. One I won't repeat here, but I will. She didn't want to talk in public, but years ago here in 91, 92, around that area, we had a terrible thing called the Bull-Eye Rapist here. You'll remember him, which caused a lot of fear in the northern suburbs of Wollongong, Bull-Eye. Yeah. He was running rampant, and we were running operations, and myself and my mate Red because we were down here, we would, when we at the end of our shift, would just go and skulk around the area waiting for him, see if we could pick him up or we'd strike.
It was pretty big news. It wasn't just Wollongong.
No, it was a big news
because
all
in
over.
Sydney I'd heard of.
Yes,
I lived in Sydney, but I'd heard of that.
It was a big deal, and he was terrorising the area. We ran an operation trying to get him, and in fact, one of the dog squad blokes got him.
Oh, really?
Yep. Dog handler, who's now a barrister and a good bloke. Noisy, I'll call him Noisy, that was his nickname, and his dog Bandit got the guy, and Bandit bit him because he was running, and when they took him to the hospital, the nurses there weren't too keen to help him, to give him treatment. They wanted to jab needles into him, and he deserved it. But yeah, so a woman there came after the talk. She came up, she said, didn't want to say it in public, but her daughter was a victim.
Wow.
Of him, and she told me that, and very sad, and the repercussions of that.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realise a lot of times, the trauma that crime committed against you, no matter how small, can have repercussions. I tried my best over the years to always, look after the victims, but give the offenders a bit of curry if I could. And I make no apologies for that. Cancho, through me, didn't like car thieves, and as far as I'm concerned, they all ran and got bitten. If they didn't give up straight away, they got a bite. And every car thief that I recovered, and the owner would always, if I spoke to him, say, "Did the dog get a bite?" And whether he did or didn't, I said, "Yeah, he got a bite." And they go, "Oh, great, give him a bone for me."
Made them feel better.
It made them feel better because they feel powerless.
Yeah.
Any crime, if you've been a victim of crime, and we're always first on the scene to see it, or the ambulance.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of impact to the family, to the emergency services
and
workers.
the big thing, if you've never had it happen to you, like a break and enter, we become complacent. When I was first in the cops, we go to every break and enter and to investigate. Well, there's not much we could investigate. We were there to take a report, mainly for the insurance company.
Again,
if there was insurance companies again. If there was fingerprints we get fingerprints out. Same with a stolen car, but you came a little bit blasé about it, especially in the early days. When the VCRs first come out, the old Betamax and that, everyone was stealing VCRs with a big go. So about $900 back in when they first came out. They were expensive, and they break in, steal the VCR, and most women. It was like they'd been violated. Their home had been violated.
Yeah.
And then they didn't feel safe. And I could understand that.
Yeah, that's right.
At first, when I was younger, I'd go there and I'd be quite blasé and take a report and, and have a look and see whether I get fingerprints in or not, what the MO, the modus operandi was, and go, well, let your insurance company know, and because it never happened to me to start with. And until you have it happen to you, it doesn't impact you.
Yeah.
So, and having a crime committed against you can leave an impact. So if I could ever make them feel a bit better by telling the dog bit the offender, they were happy. They never said, "Oh, I hope he's all right."
Yeah, I bet.
They just go, "Is the dog all right?" Yes.
Yeah, is the dog all right?
Is the dog okay? Give him a bone. He would have more bones you can poke a stick at. He never got one bone, but I go, "Yeah, I'll give him a bone."
Oh, nice.
So we did the talk there.
Yep.
And that went well. And we hand out some pamphlets, and we might get a few listeners to the podcast. Hopefully out there, the Probus ladies.
Yep.
Send me a like.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to the Probus girls.
And your father-in-law, Ron.
Ron.
Very lovely man.
He is. And he's 91 and he's as fit and strong as a bull. He's only recently, he's gone to a retirement village.
Yeah.
But I had taken him to the gym twice a week. He was doing assisted push-ups. He can do plank. He walks. He's very fit, but his mind's gone. He got, dementia, and he has trouble remembering the day-to-day things.
Yeah.
And meeting people and whatnot. But in his previous life, he was a very, very clever man. He's an industrial chemist, and he patented the colour system for Colorbond for Lysarts. He was the expert on paint and Colorbond, and would go all over the world lecturing and all over Australia. If there was a problem, somebody had a problem with Colorbond product, he was the one to go there and go, "It's not our problem, you've done something wrong." He would usually prove that it wasn't Colorbond.
Yeah, very smart man.
Very smart, and everything is black and white. He can be frustrating because if you get in an argument, there is no such thing as about or roughly.
Oh.
It's either it is or it isn't.
Yeah.
And he's not into the esoterics or anything like that. Everything has to be, and even now he remembers what he learned at school. What he learned at university. He's got got his PhD and doctorate and all that, and he's got awards, and he's got a doctorate. But he never tells anybody or does anything about it. He came from very poor background in the UK, living in near Liverpool in the UK.
Wow.
And his parents died when he was quite young. His mother and father were a bit older. They had his older brother, I think, was 15 or more years older than he was. The older brother, 3 brothers. There was Stan, Ron, and then his younger brother, Alan. Or there was another one older than him, I think. So they were sort of grown up working. He didn't really know them. And his father died when he was young. But he had a mate. They were just going to an ordinary school, what they call a public school.
Mm-hmm.
And his mate had been invited to go to this prestige private school to sit an exam to see if he could get a scholarship in primary school. And he didn't know how to get there. He had to catch a couple of buses, but Ron knew how to get there, and he said, will you show me the way? So Ron said, yeah, I'll go with you. So Ron took him to this private school, which in the UK is called a public school. They call it a public school system, but here we call it a private school. And he's sitting outside, and one of the head teachers came past, with his mortarboard, and he goes, what are you doing here? He said, I'm waiting for my friend who's doing the exam. He said, well, why aren't you doing it? He goes, well, I don't know. He said, you may as well come in and do it. So he went and sat the exam, passed, and got offered a scholarship, a full scholarship. Because his parents had no money.
That's amazing.
So he got a full scholarship all the way through school at this private school. He used to have to catch 2 buses to get there and whatnot, because they have to give so many positions to underprivileged kids. And he was obviously very clever, and he passed, and they learnt Latin and all that. But he was also very good at athletics. So he played rugby union there, and he was very good at the javelin. And he's got records for the javelin.
That's like all the stars lined up for him on that day.
Yeah.
If he hadn't made that decision to take his friend, and if the teacher didn't say, what are you doing? And
he says that. He goes, if it wasn't for that, goodness knows what I would be doing.
Mm.
And he went all the way. So he got a free ride through university and did very well there. And went to work for, I think, BP, and is on a patent for developing some sort of product for them. And then he was working for a paint manufacturer or something over there in the UK, and got offered a job over here in Australia. So they came over here.
Why he came
That's
here.
why he ended up here, him, his wife and the 3 kids, Howard, Jane and her sister Nicola. And I think Jane was about 9 at that age. They came over here.
Oh, so she was born in England too?
Born in England. They were all born there. And Jane, because she couldn't have the second, she was allergic to, used to have the smallpox vaccination. Mm-hmm. They couldn't fly out. They had to come on the ship because they were flying, and it's a 6-week journey. So they came out near Kelly Laura, I think, and first of all moved up to Newcastle and then moved to Wollongong. And he was employed by Lysarts as their industrial chemist developing the product.
Wow, that's a bit of history.
So he's got all these... as I said, he's frustrating. Lovely guy. I get on really well with him, considering I'm as dumb as a bag of hammers, and he never rubs it in my nose in it. But
no, he was actually talking very highly of you when I was sitting with him there, saying how good you were at training the dogs.
That's good.
And it was amazing what you can do, and you just talk to them and they just do it.
That's good. Well, so he's a good guy. Yeah. So when and then I took him back. We got him that walker. You saw him with a walker.
Yeah.
Well, I can't keep up with him with it because he's only got it because he's a little bit balanced. He's a little bit off balance. But he moves like a gazelle. And when we got to the frat club, there's half a dozen stairs. He picks it up, runs up the stairs and puts it back down again. And I have to keep saying to him, where's your walker? Hey, I don't need that. Yes, you do.
Actually, when I was leaving, I was out right at the other end of the car park and I was about to go. And then I look over and I saw you and him at the car and I thought, how did you get there so fast?
He flew across. He flies across. I go, the car's up there, Ron.
I didn't realise he was so quick.
Oh, he's fast.
Okay.
He's fast. So, and then you're going to ask me about...
Yeah. So, you told me this story at training the other day about... You went back to the retirement village.
Went to the retirement village.
And they were doing a bit of craft.
In the morning, they had done soap making because I picked him up after
that was in the morning, was it?
In the morning, they did soap making. And And they've got their old people there and they're doing something. So the girl running it, very good. And she said, rightio, so you just get the materials and you put some in here and you put some. And Ron's going, a couple of drops of this, a couple of drops of that. And Ron's going, excuse me, you haven't given us any instructions yet. And this Marie, she's lovely. She's going, Ron, he goes, we need instructions so we know what we're doing. And she said, I had to go away. She walked away and she came back and he goes, oh, good, you're back. We haven't had the instructions yet. So she's going, all right, well, you put about, no, not about. I said to him, she's telling me the story and I said, I bet you said this. It's not about 1 drop or 2 drops. It's either it is 1 drop or it's 2 drops. Mm-hmm. And she goes, yes, that's exactly what he said. So I said, well, put 2 drops of this and 1 drop of that and then stir it. Well, how long should we stir it and what should we do? And anyway, he made these beautiful soaps. One's a rose.
I've seen a photo.
And then there was the block. And then he said to her, can I have all the ingredients, please? Now, he's got no sense of smell because of dealing with chemicals all his life. And he's sniffing all these chemicals. Then he starts mixing them up and he makes this bar of soap that looks like a bar of marble.
Yeah, it's
right?
pretty
all
cool.
of the others is solid colour. Mm-hmm. And he's written the formula down and they're going, how did you make that? And he's going, I'm not telling you. And he wouldn't share that. And they go, the other people want to know how to make it like yours because it looks like, and he's going, no. It's his formula.
He's got it in his
pocket. He's got it in his pocket. They searched his room trying to find it. They couldn't find the formula. I don't know where he's hidden it. He's probably forgotten. But he would not share that formula. He couldn't understand. He goes, no, it's my formula.
You might want to patent that.
Oh, well, and I showed you the photos. It looks really, and it's like a bit of marble.
Good.
The other was like pink,
yeah,
and then the pink
boring.
flower, and it was boring.
His
and then
look real fancy.
And his it's got.
Put that on your
you put
bathroom sink and
it looks good. It looks like a piece of marble.
It does.
No, he would not share it. So she was driving him mad, and she loves him. She's going because he's so, fit, and he's so sharp with his mind. One day we're talking. I failed it. I did the breathalyzer course. Right, you do a 2-week. I think it's 2-week breathalyzer course to learn about the breathalyzer. And I think I might have said this earlier. And it runs on Henry's Law.
Yeah,
right? It's developed by Henry's Law.
You ended up
and I'm just talking one day. I did a lecture. I said, Henry's Law. And he quoted it off the top of his head. Now, it's a really obscure law. Uh-huh. It's an obscure law. There's lots of laws, the Lawton's, Newton's law of gravity and all these other different laws, and an object in motion remains in motion if it's and all those sorts of things. He could tell you because he loves physics, he loves science and chemistry, but he will tell you exactly why things happen. And I go, the sky's blue. You know why the sky's blue? Because and he'll tell you about the spectrum, and that's what Henry's Law works on.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
A colour spectrum and
so it is related.
It's related to everything like that. So he knew that. He knows that. And he still amazed me now that he can remember, because they learnt Latin when in school, and he'll still tell you his Latin that he learnt, and he'll quote the different Latin. And they learnt by rote, and they learnt the reason, the grammar, correct grammar. So I let him read my book when I first put it out, and he enjoyed it. But there was a few grammatical errors. Mm-hmm. I said, yes, I know there are, Ron. We're going to let those slide. And he was happy with that.
Okay.
And when it comes out, he won't remember that he's read it, and I'm going to let him read it again.
And he's going to tell you again.
And anyone else who wants to read it again can.
Yeah.
But he can tell me this grammatical. I'll tell him it's your fault next time.
The editor.
Yes, the editor. But he's very big on grammar, and it has to be. There's got to be a reason for it.
Okay.
And you don't just do because or about. There is a reason, and once you explain that, he's happy.
Yeah.
The reason I'm doing this is because this, and this. And he goes, yep, okay. I don't agree. If he doesn't agree, he won't argue. He goes, we'll beg to differ.
Yep.
He'll say, we'll beg to differ, especially about religion and things like that. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not religious, but he's not either. And he goes, I will beg to differ on that point.
Yep.
And away you go.
Yeah. So now he's at the retirement village.
No, it's not a retirement village.
Not a retirement village.
No, it's...
you called it a retirement.
I didn't. No,
yes,
I didn't.
You did. We'll check the recording. I've got this recorded.
It is a retirement village, not a nursing home. That's what it's not. It's not a nursing home.
Yeah,
It's a care facility.
I didn't call it
No,
a nursing
you didn't.
home.
I did. No, so it's a care facility.
Okay.
And it's a very beautiful place. They get chef-cooked meals.
All right.
3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch and
now
dinner.
he's making waves there with his Soapgate scandal.
The Soapgate scandal.
Won't give away his...
The secret recipe for the marble soap.
Yeah.
Laugh. I got the soap at home.
Well, you better watch that because there might be people trying to get their hands on it.
Get their hands on it so they can break it down.
Reverse
engineer it. How do we make the marble soap?
Yeah. Now, still sticking with our theme of colour, I guess.
Yes.
Another thing we discussed in training the other day was when you were graded at judo back in your younger years.
Yes.
So we're jumping
back in
over
the
the place
1960s,
here.
the late 60s.
You mentioned, and I was really surprised, that you didn't actually get given a coloured belt.
No.
You just had to go home and your mum dyed the belt whatever colour you were graded to.
Never bought a belt. I had a white belt. You got a white belt. And then I was fortunate enough, I was pretty switched on with my judo, and I went to a weekend training camp run by the YMCA, and there was Australian champion there, second dan, I think of his name, big fellow, John Buckley, and he was running a black belt second dan Australian champion. He was running a grading seminar for the kids, and I was to be a partner for one of the guys going for his green belt. So it goes white, yellow, orange, green, blue, brown, then you get your black belt. And he was going for his green belt, I think. And I was just to be his partner, which we call uke to be thrown. And they would give you the name in Japanese, and you would do the throw. And I was able to do all the throws that he did. So we say just take turns, and I just did, goshi, dashi harai, I think up to harai goshi, quite advanced techniques, tai toshi maybe, uchigari, ko uchigari, things like that. And it's probably 16 throws, maybe not that many, but quite a few throws. And I was able to perform the throws. So he graded me to orange belt. So I skipped yellow and went straight to orange. And when I went home, told my mother I was quite proud. She didn't know what it meant. She just went, "Oh, you're an orange belt." I said, I was really proud. I'm an orange belt. And she goes, "I know what that means." And then she got some orange dye and dyed my belt orange. Hung it up, cake dye. And then I got my green belt. And I was going in a competition in Sydney. I think it might have been the blue belt that happened, but I was going in a competition, and she died the night before. I said to her, night before, I said, I've got to have a green. We didn't buy a belt. I still had so she dyed, she stripped the orange and she dyed it with green, a cake dye. And it was still wet the next day. And I got green on my hands and green on it was green everywhere.
Your nice white judo gi.
Yes, white judo gi. And then the same happened with my blue, with the blue. And it was a really nice blue, actually, blue cake dye. And the first belt that I ever bought that wasn't dyed was when I got my brown belt.
Okay.
But I was 17. No, I was older than that. My brown belt. No, so when you turn... In judo, when you're a junior up till 16, under 16. When you turn 16, you become a senior. And whatever belt you are, you drop 2 belts. Unless you're a yellow belt, you just stay a yellow belt. So I was getting my brown belt. I got my junior brown before I turned. So when I was 15, I was the second person, I think, in Canberra. Mark Scully, he got his brown belt a couple of weeks before me. As a junior brown belt, which was, quite an achievement. I got my junior brown belt. And then I turned 16 and you drop back 2 belts. So I went back to green belt.
Right.
And then you work your way back up to brown belt. And I got my brown belt, senior brown belt, when I was 19 in 1976 before I went to Japan.
Yeah, I remember you got
so
it just
I wanted to be a brown belt to go over there because, you see, the Japanese don't have coloured belts.
Oh, okay.
Right? They just have white and then you get your black belt.
Oh.
The coloured belts, excuse me, were brought in for Europeans. And one of Jigoro Kano, who founded judo, went to France to teach judo. He saw that they wanted to have some measure of how they were improving. You know, they wanted to be, you know, told they were doing well. How do we do that? And he came up with a coloured belt system. And Jigoro Kano was happy enough with it, but didn't introduce it to Japan. And still now, they're not big on coloured belts. Karate classes were the same. You trained until the master thought you were worthy of it. Then he called you over and he gave you your Dan grade. Because Shodan means first step. That's what it literally means. Dan means step, Sho means first. And so it's the first step of your beginning your training. The rest of it's just a prelude to training. Mm-hmm. When you become black belt, you start to learn.
Yeah.
And most kids in Japan get their black belt at school. They do judo in all the primary, and by the time they get to high school, they're a black belt. Whole way through. A lot of them probably drop out, but it's part of their sport and PE that they do judo. Most high schools have a really good judo club. Everyone does it, but then they'll have the judo club where the keen kids who want to maybe compete for Japan or in the nationals train, and that's why and they have what's called a bugatsu, which is that when you're ready, you fight 6 other black belts, and depending on how many you beat, whether you get your black belt or not. So they sort of match it up. You know, they want to see what your judo's like, and you don't do. That's the only test you do. Whereas if you do it the way I did it in Australia, first of all, you get points through competition, and then you go and do a exam, which is all your throws, all the counters, all your hold downs, and you do the Nage no Kata, which is a preset 15 throws, left hand and right hand. You do that, and then you might get graded to black belt.
And in competitions for judo, I'm not very up on the rules, but from what I know, it doesn't matter what belt you are. Like you fight. That's right. You fight in weight. You just fight anyone. It's just your weight. So it doesn't matter if you're a white belt, yellow belt, or a black belt. You all fight. And I went to a competition at a few years ago at the I think we're at Shoalhaven, and from our club we had this nice young fella, and he was a yellow belt. And he was pretty harmless, sort of, just a nice guy. And he came up against a black belt who had represented Australia at the Commonwealth Games, and his twin brother had been at the Olympics. They were both Olympians and Commonwealth Games competitors. And he came up, and he was really good to him. He just came up and he just did a nice throw on him. Boom. Yeah. And got an hip on. And I said to the young fella who was from my club, you can judo from Ulladulla. I said, you can go and tell everyone you got beaten by an Olympic judo player. Exactly. And he looked at it a bit differently. He went, I did, didn't I? He'd been doing judo for about 6 months. Yeah. And the guy, one of the twins, Darren, I think it was, just took it easy on him. Yeah. Really. But that's what can happen. Yeah, there's no fighting in. And then they have masters as well, which I fought in. So once you turn, and masters now is over 35. Okay. Which is not really masters, but they have a masters division over 35, then probably over 45. I think jiu-jitsu is 30. So
it might be 30, I think, in jiu-jitsu, which is still in your full strength at 30.
I know. I was at my best,
I'm nearly 70.
Best shape at 30. Even exactly. I'm better than my 20s.
You know, so at 30, and that's what my father didn't like when he did athletics. Mm-hmm. He did veteran athletics, and they brought in the 35 to try and get more people. Okay. And he didn't like it either. He goes, these guys are in their peak at 35. Yeah, that's right. And he was, 60 or 70. Yeah. He goes, I shouldn't be running against them. No. But they break it down a little bit more. But yeah, there's no belt. It's just age and weight.
And I did have to laugh the other day when we were telling our instructor about your trip to Japan 50 years ago.
50 years ago.
And he cheekily asked, did you meet Jigoro Kano?
Jigoro Kano. Yeah, that was very good of him. He goes, you met Jigoro Kano? He was a little bit gone by then because seeing he founded judo in 1882.
Exactly. Oh, but it made me laugh.
It did make me laugh too. And I had to laugh. He's the black belt. Oh, no, that's funny. Yeah. It was.
You had to laugh.
And he's a good guy too.
Yeah. Oh, too funny.
Yeah, so that was, my brown belt, junior brown belt was the first, and I'm going to say I bought it. I don't think, she could have dyed it. I'm not saying she didn't.
I don't know what she would have dyed it with.
I don't know. Brown. Chocolate colouring. I don't know, but she would have come up with something. But I'm not sure. I think I might have actually, because there was no. Now you just get a belt. You can go in there, $2. Yeah. You go to the martial arts shop. They're $2.
There probably wasn't even martial arts shops.
There wasn't. Jala used to buy things online, and not online, through the magazine.
Yeah,
There was a place, Jala, I think they might even still, and there was a place at Strathville we used to get our geese from and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, buy that and mail it down. It was mail order and out of a magazine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the judo magazine.
So one of the
martial arts. Yeah, there was the martial arts world. There was different. I go to all the martial arts magazines.
You still got them?
I'm in a couple of them. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Spelled the name wrong. Yeah, there was a South Pacific Martial Arts that was from New Zealand, a New Zealand Australian thing. I fought in this karate tournament and I won or did something all right in that, and they put my name, but I think they spelled it wrong, which didn't help. But anyway, yeah.
We'll have to get photos of
the book. Oh, yeah, I've got the book there. Yeah, South Pacific Martial Arts it was called.
Cool. All right, so last week we talked about you applying for the New South Wales Police and your training program for that. You then went and did the TRG training as well. Going back to that point in time, I read something the other day and realised that you still had Ki when you came to New South Wales.
Yeah, Ki was still running around fit.
I kind of didn't
forgot
think about what happened to Ki, but he was still there.
He came with me.
All the way there.
Yep.
So not long after you arrived in New South Wales with Ki and Louise, your daughter Jamie was born.
Yes, in the 31st of March.
Yep.
82.
What was that like, becoming a dad for the first time?
I was very pleased and very proud. She was born at the last minute. Had to be a cesarean because she went into distress. I was at Camden Hospital because there was no maternity at Campbelltown. You had to go to Camden.
Oh, okay.
Camden was like the big deal, which was a little hospital and out like right next to a little walkway. It was like an old country. Well, it was a country hospital, just a little country hospital with
like Milton Hospital.
Yeah, it was not even as good.
Okay.
I think you're just off the breezeway was the. So I was on afternoon shift that day, but it was during the day. It was just after lunch. I think she was born 3 o'clock, and they said to me, she's going into fetal distress. We're going to have to do a cesarean. You can stay, which was very unusual. They said, don't worry. I said, look, I've seen lots of dead bodies. A live one's not going to worry me. Mm-hmm. And I was there while they sliced Louise open with a scalpel. And there when pulled Jamie out, and she was about 9 pounds something. She was a big baby. And I said, there's the future heavyweight champion of Australia. And they said, it's a girl. I said, doesn't matter. That was what I said. And I was very proud. And Louise obviously wasn't very, had been knocked out and missed it all. I was there. I went to work and told her, I still went to work. I was on an afternoon shift, went to work and said, yeah, I've got a girl. And her name's going to be Jamie Louise. Because Jamie, obviously, was a mother liked, and Louise, because she was, the mother was Louise. Yep. So that was that. And like her mother, I wasn't a very good father. I wasn't good, not for the first couple. And with Dana, the next one, I was hopeless. I didn't know what to do. I what to do.
They don't come with instructions.
They don't come with instructions. I went, I don't know what to do here. She was doing the feeding. She struggled, and she did all the hard work. I just went to work and, looked after her a bit. I got better. I did get better at it.
Some practice.
Yeah, I got on really well.
Yep.
But I wasn't hands-on with the changing and
well, to be
feeding
fair,
and
though, in that time, I don't think there were too many dads that were.
No, probably not. I look back and I wasn't too hands-on.
I don't think there were.
Probably could have been better.
It's different now. It's a different...
I walk her take them in the pram, I'll take them and do stuff and play and all that, but I wasn't too good at the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. I think that's pretty normal for the time.
Probably. I was just a bad father.
Sure you weren't. Well, we'll let the girls tell us.
Yeah.
So, couple of years after that,
Yeah.
Louise left you.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the Northern Territory.
No, it was me. It wasn't the Northern Territory, it was me. Yeah, she decided one Friday night, she said, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm getting the train tomorrow and go and stay with my mum and dad. They lived in Yass. I said, no, I'll drive you down. I don't want you getting the train down. I thought it was a break. We'll have a break.
Yeah.
It was a long break.
Yeah.
I was a bit devastated. I really missed Jamie. I missed my daughter a lot.
Yeah.
And I would have to, and even when she was a baby, like she was not quite 2. Right? She left in 84. So February 84, and she wasn't 2 till the March. And my parents lived in Canberra, so I would have to work 7 nights a night work. Mm-hmm. I usually did a day shift, 7 nights a night work, and then I'd get 4 days off, and I'd drive down to Yass, pick up Jamie, go across to my mum's and dad's place at Canberra and stay there, look after Jamie, and that's where I did have more hands-on.
Yeah.
Looking after her, changing her and whatnot. And then it was a heartbreaking take her back on the Sunday, Monday, and she would perform. She didn't like leaving, didn't like me handing me over. She loved staying with me and my mum and dad, and had the dog and things like that. Ki, they got photos over there with Ki. Ki just looked after her and adored her.
Yeah.
He was so good with her.
How old was Ki at that time? By then?
If he was born in 78, and that was 84, you do the math.
6?
He was 6. Yeah, he lived till he was about 9, so he was about 6. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And very good with her, so gentle. And she'd put the lead on him, take him for a walk when she was running around. And then he'd turn around, she'd get up the road and he'd drag her back. And she'd come home crying, because he'd just come back home. He didn't,
wasn't letting her get too far away from the house.
No.
And then you were also saying, so Louise left, but you didn't really have anything left in the house.
No, she took. I gave her everything.
Because you didn't really have anything in the first place.
I didn't have much to
you?
start with. She had a table and chairs, that's like country style that she lacquered or did something. I think that was, and a bit of furniture that we had.
Yeah.
No, she took that.
So it was just you and Ki.
A couple of bean bags. I bought an old TV. Bought the old Logie Baird TV from a mate, and that was it. Just 2 lads hanging out. And blokes used to, the cops, when I was working on the truck, and if I had to duck home and get some dinner or anything, I'd come home and I'd open the gate and I'd open the back of the truck and I'd yell, "Get him out!" And he'd jump in the back of the F100. He could smell there's crooks in there, and his nose would be going, and the cops were with me going, "Oh my God, hell, that's his dog." I go, "Yeah, he knows what to do."
Yeah,
he's worked with me in the Northern Territory. Unofficially, taking him to, out patrols and whatnot.
Yeah. And
he'd jump in the back. Yeah. Take him for a walk every afternoon.
Good old Ki.
Ki. Everyone loved Ki.
Yep, that's what I heard.
She's a favourite.
So, couple of years fast forward.
Yes.
And
86.
A new constable arrives at Campbelltown.
A new probationary constable. I trained a couple of constables before that, and I was like what they call him, a field training officer. There wasn't any official name. Didn't get paid anymore. He just did more work, and your job was to train the new probationary constables. For 6 weeks, you had a buddy, show them the ropes, teach them the right way of doing things. And a young girl turned up from Wollongong, and it was April. It was about the 6th of April. They were sworn in April of 86.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd just been working with the TRG. I'd been up to Bathurst for the Bathurst bike races. I'd been up the year before when the riots were on in 1985, and that's part of, I think I've written a story about that. So the Bathurst riots were then, 85.
Go back to that.
Go back to the Bathurst bike race riots. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then 86, because of the riots, they put a lot of things in place, and they put these barbed wire like fences all over the top compound, the top area up there, to sort of make like bull races or something. Just had these star pickers with barbed wire on them. So people just couldn't move or run around. They had to walk around through all these.
Oh,
that was an idea. And then we tightened up the alcohol, and there wasn't any problem. It was a bit of a fizzer. And I met Jane on the steps going upstairs at the new Campbelltown Police Station in Queen Street. And I was a smart ass. I know I was. And I'd bought this bike racing singlet at the bike races, It was probably cheap. A white singlet, and it had, Bathurst motorcycle races sort of on it. And I was wearing under my police shirt, and I sort of opened and said, am I a rebel or what? And she just went, oh, you wanker. I could just see her roll her eyes and go. And she had another friend, Sue. Sue was come out of the academy with her. They were friends in the academy. They were actually living together. And she goes, Sue didn't want her buddy. He was a really good cop. Doug was a really good cop, a nice guy, but he was a bit overweight. He was a chubby. And Sue goes, oh, how come I get the fat one? And Jane just said to him, you can have him. You can have him. So I got her to work with, and she was a fit young girl from Wollongong, and we came from a good family, as we know. Ron, her father, a brother was in the cops. He was at Wollongong.
Oh, okay.
And she was very fit at the time and had a set of abs, and she trained hard to get in the cops, and she had a bit about her, and she looked the part. And she was 22. 22, and I'm 7 years older, so I was 29. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm 7 years older, so I still was back then, even then. And so I was a bit older. And she said I was an egotistical prick. I said, you're a glamour looking for a husband.
Oh, no.
That was how we started.
First exchange
sort of thing. But she was very, very good cop, and she wanted to learn, but she's, she realised led a sheltered life, living down Wollongong. Came from a good family, lived at good house. As I said before, they had 2 bathrooms,
yeah,
double garage underneath the house, I think it was, like a split level type home, and had a bedroom each. Me and my brother shared a bedroom.
And it was brick, was it brick?
It was brick as well. We had a brick house in Narrabundah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was brick and tile. The first one was a 5-row house, but we had a brick house. But my brother and I'd have to fight for everything. No, you didn't. No, you're probably Howzo country too.
No.
And she was sent to Campbelltown, because they didn't send probationary constable Wollongong at that stage. So a lot of them were travelling up. And so she was going to live there rather than travelling up each day, which was a bit of a travel when you're changing shifts and whatnot. So she was going to live with her friends Sue
and obviously
and
the roads weren't as
good as they are now. It was
No.
quite a dangerous road. That
Yeah.
Appin Road was a very dangerous road, travelling up and down. So she was living with Sue, and I was her buddy, and she was a good cop. She ended up being a good cop, but we didn't get on well to start with. It got better.
Lucky. So fast forward a bit, and she was looking for somewhere to live.
She was looking for somewhere to live. They were living down at Glenfield, and the house that they were sharing down there was a couple of undesirables down there. And she just mentioned to me one day that I'm not really happy living there. I said, I got a spare room at my place, because I had the house, the 3-bedroom, the fibro house at East Campbelltown. It was a bit of a drop in for a couple of the cops who were. There was a couple of spare rooms, because they had my room, 2 spare rooms, and if cops were working and doubling back, because you only got 8 hours between shift.
Oh, okay.
Back in those days. So if you're finishing at 11, you had to be back at 7 the next day, and then you're travelling, or you finished at 11:30, then you get home, and then you got to turn around and come back again. So they just used to come and stay at my place. So I said, I've got a spare room. Oh, that's good. And Ron, so they moved all her stuff up. He came, she had a waterbed at the time, they were the go. And you had to pull it apart.
Until they burst, right?
Until they burst, I don't know. And Ron came up and he put it together and put it in the spare room. But she didn't get to use it. Right?
We don't talk about that. But anyway, in the book you said she moved in and she fell in love.
She fell in love.
But not with you.
Not with me, with Ki. She loved Ki.
And Ki
loved her, yeah. Because I was pretty hard on him. Because that was the way I was brought up with dogs. The dogs, we loved them, we looked after them, but they lived outside, and they, that was their place, outside. Yeah. And then she used to sneak him in when I was on afternoon. She'd for cuddle on the lounge, on the beanbag. And when she first moved in, she rang me at work and she goes, "There's this knocking under the house." And I laughed. I said, "That's Ki. He's going under and he's hitting his head on the noggins and he's just following you around where you'll get up and move. He'll follow around and he'll be lying under the house," because it was on piers, and you hear this,
tap, tap,
as he's going along, and it's him. And then and he wasn't allowed on the back step. I don't know why I had this rule. He wasn't allowed on the back step. Anyway, and as soon as I opened the door, he'd leap off the back step. He went on there. And she goes, and I go, "What's going on with the dog?" But I found out later he'd been coming in, having cuddles.
On the lounge.
On the
beanbag
with Jane, keeping her company. Yes.
Oh, cool. So, back around then you were in the detectives.
I was general duties, and then I went into detectives in late 86, 87, I think. I started training decided to go. I thought I might be a detective.
Yeah. You said you passed the bull ring, I was like, what is the bull ring?
So what happens is you apply to go on what's known as the A list. The A list is ungraded the detectives, to become a detective. There's a whole process to go about. So you put in a report and you go, "I'd like to be considered being a detective." So you then get maybe one day, a month, or a fortnight when they can fit you in. You go into the detective's office and you're just working in there, and they want to have a look at you, see what you can do, and then you study for what's called the bull ring, and they give you a book, and it's quite a thick book, and you have to learn everything in this book verbatim. And verbatim means, off rote. And the definition of malicious, what definition of a pistol, all about juveniles, all about different offences and things like that. And you drive around in the truck and you're reading this stuff, memorising the definition of malicious, which is about half a page long.
Oh.
A malicious is any act done with malice and without forethought, blah, 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 goes on and on and on, whether done maliciously. And you've got to know this stuff. And then you're giving a date and you go down to the CIB headquarters and you sit the bull ring, and they'll have all the applicants going through these days, and they'll have half a dozen of the top detectives. And they had, like, people probably know Black Angus was one of the famous, they call him Black Angus out of Blue Murder and things like that. And the detective superintendent, which is the highest detective in the state, he's there. Detective inspectors or detective sergeant. and
Be a
you
bit
go and play.
intimidating.
It is, and that's what it's all about. And they're all sitting there,
detectives.
and then they're asking you these questions, and you always get people say, "So you're on, and you've got to take your appointments." And well, they didn't have any. There wasn't any shoulder holsters or holsters. You had to source your own and beg, borrow, steal them. We had these white, really soft, white. Holsters like a shoulder holster, but none of the detectives wore them. Most of them detectives wore an ankle holster, and they had detectives could have a 2-inch Smith & Wesson called the Detective Special, because we had the 3-inch. The general duties have a 3-inch, which was especially made for New South Wales. They either come in a 2, 4 or 6-inch barrel, but we had a 3-inch specially made for New South Wales, and they were quite cumbersome. Then you had your handcuffs, and you got the train down there. And the day I did my bull ring, there was me and Jimmy from Liverpool were going, and I didn't know we were on the train together, didn't know him, and we got near just before Redfern, and the train broke down. You couldn't do that these days because we jumped off the train because I had to be there by 11 o'clock or something. So I jumped off the train and ran along the train lines to Redfern, up onto the station, then ran to headquarters, get there, to get this bull ring. They didn't care if there was a train strike or whatever. They just went, you be here. And somebody before doing the bull ring, they would say, always have a couple of photos, we had a catalogue of local crooks and criminal photographs of suspects and things. Grab a couple of them and put them in your notebook. Because they would say to you, "Are you on duty?" And you go, "Yes, I'm on duty." "Have you got your appointments?" "Yes." I didn't want to see them, but I've got your appointments, your gun and your handcuffs. "Pistol, yeah, I've got your appointments." And they go, "Got your notebook?" And you're always on duty, got your notebook. And in back of the old police notebooks, it was from the 1920s. It had a picture, a drawn picture of a male, what a crook would look like, but with a hat on, like a trilby hat, 3-piece suit, tie, wingtip shoes, and
sounds like
and then
Peaky
it had
Blinders.
and it would have on it so to remind you when you're taking a physical description: eye colour, eye shape, nose shape, teeth, any facial hair. Were they wearing a hat? What sort of hat were they wearing? Are they wearing a suit? And this was in the back, even up into the 80s and 90s, they still had this picture of this alleged crook to remind you what to take a description. So you have your notebook. Yes, I've got my notebook, and they want to look at it, and they'll read through it to make sure that you're doing some work. What you're doing, you're taking, doing break and enters, and it's not traffic matters in there. If you wanted to go to the highway patrol when you're in general duties, you would be pulling up cars all the time, doing checks on them and doing RBT, because then when they ask to look for it, you go, "Oh, look, I've been doing all this traffic stuff." Well, the detectives want to know, have I been doing criminal stuff?
Yeah, right.
Not, I pulled this bloke up for no tail light unless you wanted to search his car for drugs. Mm-hmm. So it was quite daunting. And then they tell you, so you pass the bull ring, and then you go on the ungraded list of detectives. You're a plainclothes constable, but it's ungraded. You haven't been graded yet. Mm-hmm. It's called A list. And you can be on that for 2 years or 3 years, depends when they run. They've run different sorts of courses. Some you went 1 day a month. I think mine was you went 1 day a month for so long, and then you went and did a couple of weeks, and then and then they do a solid 4-week course.
So was that, I read in the book, potential crime investigators?
Yes, so you became, that's the PCI. No, that's before a detective.
Oh.
So before you even become a detective, you do a 4-week potential, I think, I might be telling lies, it was a couple of weeks, might have been 4 weeks, potential crime investigators course.
So sort of straight after the bull ring.
Oh, no. You're working out as a plainclothes constable. Okay. You're only on all your paperwork, you put down plainclothes constable, but to the members of the public, you call yourself detective. I am Detective Mayer, because if you said, I'm plainclothes constable, they go, what's that?
Yeah.
Because you're wearing plain clothes, you're a constable, but they don't understand. They just know the word detective. Mm-hmm. But to all intents purposes, you are not a detective. You're a plainclothes constable. So you do that for a couple of years until they decide you're good enough to go on the detectives course. So I did the potential crime investigators course. I think it's about 4 weeks. Bob came and saw me when I was... That was another story. So I told you about Bob before, but that caused some issues too. So you do that and you're studying all about law, case law, and you've got to learn all this case law. You've got to learn all about points of proof to prove an offence, all criminal offences. You are typing up briefs. So what they'll do is they'll say to you, you've got a brief to do. There's a fellow, and I'll give you a scenario. Mm-hmm. You go to this, and it's always Joe Bloggs is always the offender, or I think Joe Bloggs was one. There's two names we used all the time. Joe Bloggs was one, and the offender. And you go to this house, and you find stolen property that's hidden up in it's usually a cassette recorder, it was at this stage, and the offender always admits the offence to you. Okay. So, and you have to type up everything. You type up the ownership statement, the victim statement, the record of interview. You sit and do a record of interview, and you're doing both parts, offender and typist, and you put the whole brief together, and they give you a couple of hours to do this. And a brief is all these things. And you've got to have all the points of proof in there. You've got to have it done. So you try and make it easy for yourself as you can. And they'll throw you these to do this brief. And then they get harder and harder to do. Nothing, you're not solving a murder or anything, but you learn very quickly that offender always admits to everything. You're too good for me, Detective Mayer. You've got me. Yeah. Straight away. As soon as you give them the caution, so they want us to know that you can understand all that. And then you have an exam as well. You have exams each week at the end of the week. You have to pass. And I started off and I wasn't going too good, and I wasn't doing a lot of study because I'm not good at studying, and I got a bit of a G up by the one of the directors of the course who I knew and was a good bloke. I'd looked after him when he came to the Northern Territory, actually.
Oh, okay.
I did know him, and when he was a detective from Bondi, and he goes, "You're not going too good, you're down there." So I hooked in, and I was pretty proud. I came third. Oh. For me, I've never got close to coming third. Anything. Considering
I clearly weren't doing that well before.
No, and I picked up my game and did a bit of study, because you got the train there. It was at the Remington Centre, so I was going from Campbelltown. It wasn't the East Hills line. It was a long trip in.
Yeah,
an hour more in there. In there, you start at 8:30, finish about 4:30 or something, and then you get the train home. You get back home, you study, then you come back in the morning. You go to usually the Campbelltown Police Station, maybe type up some more notes. 6 o'clock in the morning, get the train, go over and over 5 days a week. 4 weeks, it was a bit hard, but I passed the potential crime investigators course. You're still only a plainclothes constable, and then you wait another, could be 12 months or more to do the detectives course when a position becomes available, because all these people want to get on the course that are doing it. So you've got to wait your place.
Just it might be in a waiting list now.
A waiting list to go. But in the interim, I realised I wasn't going to be a very good detective.
It sounds exciting, but when you...
It's not, but it is. It's a lot of it is clerical work. It's typing.
The reality of it.
The reality of it, it's not like TV. You are taking a lot of statements. When you're a junior detective with plainclothes, you get all the typing duties. Mm-hmm. When there's a murder, you're doing the running sheets, and that's a nightmare of a job. You've got to be a really good typist to do those. It's not like TV where you run around and question people and no. If you're doing the running sheets and somebody gives information that there was a white Holden station wagon that was used, seen. They might have partial number. So you have to type that all on a card. Then you type for white. You put so if someone's looking up white, they can find all the information. You type another card for the white with that Holden station. Station wagon, you type it up with station wagon. You type it up for part of the number. You type it up for Holden. You type it up.
No.
Anything you can think of. So there might be 5 information cards for that one piece of information. So that if someone just went, I'm looking for a white, and you go, look up white. And then every what you call lead, every piece of information goes out on like a job sheet. So you're typing up the job sheets and they are handed out to the detectives doing the investigation. You go, this is your jobs. This is, you've got to go and check this. You're checking that. And they will come back with typed up information that's got to be recorded on the running sheet. Now it's all done on computer, but it's got to be put in.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, but it's still all got to be typed in.
But still,
they came up with a program for that.
You'd be able to tag stuff with.
Yeah, probably. You could tag it. I never had to do that. But when they're doing the running sheets for a murder, a big inquiry like that, because
at least you only have to type it once.
No, you have to type it. Oh, but then there's 4 or 5 copies of the running sheets. Right? It's got to be done quadruplicate.
But not if it's in computers.
No, but when we did it...
When you did it...
You did it 4 times.
What a nightmare.
And it all had to go in an individual folder. All of that. So you had 4, and then there'd be a working one, and the sheets go out, the working, and you kept one there, the original kept there, because somewhere in those running sheets, usually the offender is somewhere in there. They get mentioned in there somewhere. Suspect in there somehow.
Yeah.
And some inquiries can go on huge amounts. Months, weeks, years.
Forever.
Yeah, until they get a result. So I'm going, this is killing me. And I wasn't very patient. So I was looking around to see what I could do. And I always wanted to get in the dog squad, but it was a really tough section to get into.
You're more of an instant gratification.
I'm an instant gratification, kick the door in, let's do it now rather than let's wait and see what happens.
Wait 2 years.
Wait 2 years. So when I went to, the day I started the dog squad course, I was supposed to be on the detectives training course.
Oh, really?
I think it was about the 1st of, it was the 1st of April 89. And they rang me. I got a phone call, there's through the system, ring the detectives training. On the break, I go back to where we were and I go, yeah. And they go, where are you? I'm about 10 foot behind a dog and enjoying it. And I was tracking and they're going, you're supposed to be on the detective training course.
Did you know, or you'd forgotten? Or
no, I don't know. What happened with the paperwork? I don't know whether I don't know. But I know I was supposed to be on the course, and I went, no, I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't coming. So, but anyway, that happened. I didn't care. But
Yeah.
I knew, because I worked with some really good detectives, really, really good, clever detectives. And one of them, who messaged me the other day, my old workmate, a very good detective, ended up detective sergeant, and they were good at that. And I said to my detective, who ended up detective superintendent, I was driving him home one day and I said, I'm never going to be a good detective. And he sort of looked at me and I went, I know I'm not. And he thought it was a bit strange for me to say. I said, because I look at him and saw how good he was.
Yeah.
And he was a touch typist. He was thinking 12 moves ahead of everybody else when he did a job. I said, So he went, no, you're going all right. But what I made up for in talent, what I lacked in talent, I made up for in enthusiasm. So I just run around like a madman, chasing everything that moved, locking it. If they moved, I locked them up. And the detective sergeant in charge of the unit said, what happens when you go for the dog unit? They ring around to find out about you. Unbeknownst to you, they want to know what sort of person you are. Are you going to fit in? Are you a go-getter? Because some guys are looking for an easy run. And he rang. I found this out after somebody else. They told me at the dog unit.
Yeah.
And they rang Bob, and said, "What's this, Senior Constable Mayer like?" Constable Mayer, and they said, he said, "I hope you can get a dog and keep up with him." And they went, "What?" I said, "He never stops."
They were like, perfect for the
and
job.
they went, tick in the box there, rather than, "Oh no, and he wasn't saying it just, to get rid of it.
It was true.
He would have been happy for me. He goes, "I'm happy to have you here." He gave me glowing report. You used to get your yearly, 6-monthly yearly reports done on you when you progress, see how you're going in the cops. Yep. They would analyse everything you're doing, your rests and your attitude and your fitness, everything. And somebody would be doing a report on. Everyone got a report. Senior to them did a report. Sergeants got a report done on them. Constables got it reported by sergeants, so on and so on. And he gave me I got a couple of the reports in my file there, and I was really embarrassed to read it because I went, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
He's like super cop. But he was genuine about it. Another sergeant, Noel Dawson, who's passed away, he gave me one. One of the statements he put, "Roger is probably the best policeman I've come across my 17 years of policing."
Oh, wow. And
I went, that's a really big call. And he was 17 years was a fair bit in the cops, and he was a good street cop too. Noel, very straight down the line, really good guy. And for him to write something like that was nice. So I was at the dog unit, and a pretty ordinary dog handler. Very ordinary dog handler.
Well, maybe better than you would have been a detective.
I made up for that too with enthusiasm because I didn't have the skill.
Yeah.
I lacked skill.
I think
I made up for it later.
Okay.
But I just didn't have my
You mean
time.
like when you first started?
When I first started, there were some guys had natural skill, and we talk about what's required.
Yeah.
I was showed enough to get on course, but I was always worried they were going to find me out.
Imposter syndrome.
I was imposter and go, "Look, see ya, go back to the detective." And I actually got criticised by the boss of the dog unit when I went for the interview. He goes, "We've never had a detective here at the dog unit." I said, "I'm not a detective, I'm a plainclothes constable." He goes, and he just went, "As good as." Like, you're as good, you may as well be a detective. You've been a plainclothes constable because they just didn't gel.
Okay.
Because the detectives had a certain persona. They were, seen to have a drink. They liked smart lunches.
Okay.
Back in those days, you went for smart lunch. They worked hard, but they played hard.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the dog squad were all about just work. Yeah, they played hard too, but after. But detectives, we'd go for, not ashamed to say, we'd go out for, if there had been a job on, we'd done a good job, we'd go out for a smart lunch, the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And say, "The boss, this is where we are," or "The boss be with us." And the whole office would go to lunch.
Yeah.
Well, you never did that in general duties. And dog squad, you couldn't imagine it, all these uniform blokes sitting around the House of Bamboo.
Yeah.
Or Raymond's Palace, the Chinese Palace.
So something Panda. Oh
yeah, that's at Liverpool. No,
there was one at Parramatta.
Oh, the
Giant Panda.
You can't imagine, sitting around, and there's these detectives sitting around having a smart lunch.
So it's a totally different culture.
Different culture, whole different thing. So we used to say there was 3 police forces in New South Wales. Well, some say Metropolitan, Country and Detectives. And some would say Metropolitan, Country and Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whichever one you pick. But there was that clash of cultures. And the detectives didn't have... And the same thing, they weren't keen to take guys from the Highway Patrol in detectives. The other way, because they've been used to, traffic matters... And it's ingrained in them. And you'd be driving an armed holder. And I worked with the high guys. I never knew how they just had an eye for it. They go, "There's an expired label." Where? How did you even know that? They could spot it. Or they go, "Oh, did you see that? What's that? Guy's got a bald tyre and he's, made it." No, I didn't see it. And I don't care. Because it wasn't my forte. It wasn't my specialty. Traffic matters. I hated writing tickets because I felt bad for people because usually usually workers. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm going, this is going, I don't want to give them a ticket. But the highway blokes, they love it. And so when they come in, the detectives, they had to say, we don't do traffic stops. We're not pulling anyone up unless we're going to search the car or we're going to arrest them.
Yeah.
Yeah, rightio. Ooh, that expired label's driving me mad.
Yeah, I need to pull him over.
Yeah, pull him over. I need to at least, you know. So
They are very different roles, I guess.
They are.
Like, it's all the police force, but
Yeah.
they are very
different. General duties.
I never really
general
thought
duties
of
are
it like-
general duties are doing everything. The general duties are the backbone of the cops, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worst job in the world. The worst job in the world. But some guys love it, right?
Yep.
Because you're involved in everything. And then the highway patrol get the beauty. They can cherry pick if they want to go to that job to back them up, or they don't, or they just stick doing traffic duties.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a few highway coming into D's, and they end up being good detectives because they had that doggedness to follow things through.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it takes and some of the better detectives are probably the women, because they're more methodical. And
Yeah.
I was still a bit about brute force. Let's kick the door in, drag him out. No, how about we speak to him, find out what's going on. All right.
And you're writing your application for the dogs.
And I was doing my application for the dog unit, and then the boss we had at the time at Campbelltown, the chief inspector, you have to put the report through him, and he knocked it back. He said, "I'm not losing one of my best. I wasn't losing one of my best workers to go to the dog unit because he's losing me." And I was really narked about it. Because he's the one's got to sign off on it. So he went on holidays, and I put it through, boom, through the relieving inspector, and it went through. And when he came back, he was ropeable because I'd got through on their selection course. You have to put a report to go on selection, and then from that, and once you make it, he has no say.
Okay.
He could have knocked me back from going selection because it's a weak selection up in St Ives,
okay.
and he got to go. No, we're too busy.
Need you here.
I need you here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going.
And I remember reading in the book there are a few people with their noses a bit out of joint because they'd all applied as well, but you were kind of ahead of them?
No, that was the TRG.
Oh, that was the TRG.
Yeah, that was the TRG.
That's right.
That they'd applied for the
Yeah,
TRG,
yeah.
and I got ahead of them.
Yeah.
And they were a bit narky about that.
Yeah,
but they
that
got
was-
over it. They realised it wasn't my doing.
Yeah.
It's just the way the system was
Yeah.
at the time. Because I put my big head in at the interview,
Yeah,
telling them how good I
that's
was. Then they realised I wasn't.
You wooed them all with your crocodile story.
Yeah, and how my gun knowledge.
Yeah, shooting crocodiles.
Yeah, this is the dangerous end.
So at the time of joining the dog squad, I don't know if it's still like that or now, but there were a few rules about what sort of person you had to be.
Yes, still the same. Mm-hmm. Still the same. So what we're doing is we're looking, there's certain criteria
Yep.
that we tick off. And one is to be an experienced policeman. Mm-hmm. Right? Because a sound experienced policeman, because you're out there by yourself and you've got to make some decisions on whether you're going to arrest, not arrest, and people are looking to you. You had to have above average fitness,
Yep.
a willingness to persevere, which is a big thing, affinity with animals, to be devoted to your duty and devoted to your dog, and I'm probably of equable temperament.
Equable temperament.
Yes, and be of sober habits. Mm-hmm. And I used to put in my reports when I went for the detectives and when I went for the dog unit, was always the standard. I would put in there that have above standard physical fitness, and I'm of sober habits.
Okay.
Which just meant I didn't drink, and I neither drink nor smoke, because that showed, So they were the 8 attributes that they looked for. And it might sound silly, but everyone had a purpose. Because if you weren't above average fitness, you didn't have to be super fit. You just had to be above the average. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to be super cop, but you had to be dedicated to your duty. And we got, over the years, when I ran selection courses or was involved in them, I would ask the applicants, that may have been hiding in an office for a couple of years, I would say bring in your last 3 of your best briefs, your briefs where you've locked someone up. And they go, oh, I've been working in the traffic office for the last 2 years. I haven't locked anyone up. Well, it tells me you're not out there. Now, that mightn't have been their whole choice. There might be a reason behind it. But if we're looking for sound, experienced policemen, and you've been in the, sitting in an office hiding, I'll use that word under advisement, but not on the front line for 2 or 3 years, you're not a sound, experienced policeman. You might be sound, experienced in dealing with, wide load permit, like they have someone organising wide load permit escorts. That's nothing to do with being out catching crooks. And then when you
actually reminded me, when I was in SES, there was a guy there from the cops, and he was complaining that he'd go into work in the morning. He'd be ready to go. Let's go get some crooks. Yeah. And everyone would be like, oh, no, let's get a cup of coffee. He's like, no, coffee later. Let's go get the crooks first. So, yeah.
Hurry up and wait.
Different types.
Different types. So we want the guys out there in the dog unit that are hunting. They're out there actively looking, actively doing their duty. So sound experienced policeman. And you've got to know what to do when you catch them. Don't always catch and clean your own, but you might have to. Of equable temperament, because you're dealing with an animal. I haven't got an equable temperament.
I don't even know that word, to be honest. I've never heard it in my life.
Oh, haven't you? All right. Equable means that you've got a balanced temperament. You're not too high in aggression. You're not too low in submissive. You're just of equable, so you don't really get riled up really easy.
Yeah.
And but you can, and you're not super just chill.
Okay.
So equable means in the middle, which I'm not.
Okay.
I have a bad temper. We know that from me biting my dinky.
Oh yeah.
In episode 1.
Scared by that.
What? Biting my dinky? Yeah. I always had a bad temper. My mother said, "You'll hang. That temper will get you hung." She thought that I'd kill somebody to get me hung because I had bad temper. But I have learnt to control it, and through martial arts and breathing, and occasionally it did. The dog did get off the leash a couple of times. The mad dog came out, but not...
I was thinking the dog.
No, not that dog.
You.
Me.
Okay.
The bad temper would slip off. And then, so you do, your fitness test. Their fitness is a big deal. And how we test that is when we just go and get guys to get dogs out of the kennel. And we want to see how they interact with them. Police dogs, trained, untrained dogs, they might be just in there on being assessed or whatever. And some dogs don't like some people. They can't help it. We've had some guys, they're really great guys, but just didn't get on with the animals.
Why do you think that is? Like, have you got any theories on that?
It's just the way you move, the way you can see it with people. It's like some people don't get on with people.
Yeah, I guess it's just
it's just
energy.
It's an innate thing, an energy.
Because I always thought, dogs know they're a bad person.
Well, you see, what your cat comes over to say, I'm not a cat person, but your cat loves to say hello to me. And she jumps up, oh, he's here again. Yeah. Dogs like me, which is great.
Yeah.
Most dogs like me. And they'll come over and just want to be with me. And I go, that's cool. I don't give them food or anything. I just go, hey, hello, and the dogs are happy to be there.
Actually, you know what? You reminded me of another story. Ben's brother had this dog. It was a staffy. And I love animals, and most animals love me. But this staffy would start growling when I got to the house, would look at me, would just start cowering and like I was going to beat it or something. Yeah. It just didn't like me. It would hide under the table and get all like...
But it might have been like that with other people too.
No, it wasn't. It was just me.
It might have been that wild hair. Did you have wild hair? I think it's the hair.
Do you think it's the hair?
That's the hair, yeah. It's quite frightening. It looks like a mane. What are lions? Look at all aggressive animals. Not aggressive. Look at all dominant animals in the wild. What do they have in common? They have big mane, jaw, hair, gorillas,
you thought I was like
mane. Like this is why...
A predator.
Not that you've got a beard, a predator. All the predators. You have a look at nice deer. Do deer have nice shaped faces?
Oh, it might have been my beard.
Yeah, it could have been your beard. They have nice shaped faces. They're gentle looking. You have a look at prey and predators.
Oh, I'm nice and gentle looking, aren't I?
Yeah, except that wild hair you've got, the mane.
Well, maybe it was the hair.
Yeah, could have been. Could have been just the way you moved. But there's all different things. So we've had some guys, and they're really good guys, and they just don't have it. And it's heartbreaking to tell them. We wash a lot out with the barrier. They have a barrier test now of minimum fitness where guys turn up, guys and girls. When I say guys, I mean guys and girls who turn up and they're not physically fit, ready to do it. And you warn them, you've got to be fit.
Yeah.
And then we lost a lot of good guys because we put them on a wait list. They might be on a waiting list for 2 years. Well, they've got to move, and they're holding up their careers, their whatnot.
Yeah.
So you had to be married, and you had to be living in your own home that you were purchasing. And we had a house, but I wasn't married, and I was living with Jane. We were living at Camden, and they wanted someone in the Wollongong area, and she wanted to move, so we sold that house and bought down in Wollongong, and then got married, so that we could get in the dog squad, as it was then. They can't impose those things now, but there was a reason for that, because they said you had to be married in a stable relationship, because the dog lives at home, he's in the kennel there, and if you're a young single bloke, then you might want to go away for the weekend, or you got your mates over, it's a bit of a party house. Well, that's not a very good environment for the dog. It has happened, I've seen it, and there's been some incidents where the dogs, get all revved up.
Yeah.
But it's not the best environment for them. And I'm not saying that married life is more stable.
But that was the general
gist of it was that there was more harmony.
I guess they probably just have to spell it out more now. Like, dog has to be cared for in this way, and you can't have parties.
And you can't be aware that because the dogs are an allurement, and you get it, and alcohol and dogs don't mix. And you have a few drinks. Get your dog out. All right, get him out. I'll show you what tricks he can do. Hang on, I'll just put this towel around my arm. Let him bite my arm. Oh,
I'll pretend I'm a crook.
Yeah, I'll pretend I'm a crook, and then
and it all goes bad.
And it goes bad.
Yeah, it's
all good till it's not.
Yeah,
everything's good till it's not. Get married. Got married. Jane became the love bride. We got married in 1988. Started course in 88. Went on full-time in 89. So we had, tell a lie, I said the weekend, we did have 5 days honeymoon. 5 days honeymoon, but I had to come back to start the dog course.
Yeah. And tell us about your honeymoon.
Oh, the honeymoon. Oh, yes. Well, through Ron's contacts, he had a friend who had a caravan down at Merry Beach, and we could use the caravan for a couple of days. His name, Barry, his name was, and he was a rep for Dulux and lived at Dover Heights, but he had this caravan, and I said, we go down there. I had a dog, I think, that I had to either pick up or start training with, but got a couple of days away from him. We drove down to Merry Beach up. We got married on the Saturday. Oh, and we got married. That was another. Can I just tell you the dramas we had? Because I'd been married before in Church of England and my wife hadn't remarried, we couldn't get married in Church of England. They wouldn't allow it.
Oh.
Unless she was being remarried.
Oh.
So
that's weird.
It was weird, and we're both Church of England, not religious, but that Jane wanted a church wedding. I didn't mind. I thought I was pretty safe going into a church. So we had to get married in the Uniting Church.
Oh.
And we got married in the Uniting Church down at Jamberoo. Her parents were living at Jamberoo. Nice, beautiful little church. And unbeknownst to me, that was a whole fiasco in itself, because Bob came to the wedding. and you can every time Bob came, there was a drama. There was a drama this time too.
Oh.
But anyway, we had to go and meet the minister. I don't know what the Uniting Church. He's a minister. He's not a priest. He's a minister. So anyway, we have to go and meet him, and they give you you pay $20. We had to do a compatibility test. Okay. Jane knows nothing about religion, not interested at all. And she's going, what did you put down for number 2? She's asked me my answers. I said, do your own test.
Stop cheating.
Stop cheating, And our minister, so we wanted to get married on Saturday. It was the 10th of September, but we had to put it back to 2 o'clock because he had his hockey grand final on. And then shortly after we got married, he ran off with one of his parishioners.
Oh, really?
So I don't know whether we're still married or not. And he got defrocked.
Oh, no.
And he was driving a taxi in Kiama.
So you got married by a taxi driver?
A taxi driver. We ended up a taxi driver. And so the honeymoon. Oh, and at the time, I was in, teaching. I was in Campbelltown in the detectives waiting to go in the dog unit. And I was the president and instructor at the Chikara Judo Club at the Police Boys Club. Police Boys Club had a judo club, and I was the coach, the instructor, and president. And they put all the kids in a bus and brought them down from Campbelltown. And as we came out the church, I didn't know, Jane had arranged it, and they all made a guard of honour, or with their geese, with their yellow belts and orange belts out the front.
Oh, that's
They all
cool.
came down. There was about 14 or 15 of them, I suppose, of these kids, aged from about 8 to 13 or something, made a guard of honour, which was very nice.
That's different.
Yeah, that's different. And then we went down to Merry Beach. Oh, we had our reception was held at a place called Mimo's. Do you know Mimo's in Wollongong? Mimo's was a nightclub. It was the place to go after midnight till 5 a.m. Jane, before she joined the cops, worked there as a waitress.
Okay.
And the two owners, Mimo and Big John, said, if you ever get married, you can have the reception here. Right, this nightclub. And we had the reception. We had 38 people, and people said it was the best night they ever had. They catered this beautiful food at this nightclub.
Yep.
Little John, the DJ, he put the music on. Didn't charge us anything for it. Let us off the hook, cheap for the $20 a head or $25 a head for the meal, a 3-course meal. My mum and dad put $1,000 on the bar. This is John Mimo. End of the night, they come up and they said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "What's the damage?" He said, "You're up to $1,500." I said, "Stop." He goes, "No. You keep going. You're only paying $1,000.
Oh.
Your tab's shut at $1,000. We cover the rest."
Whoa.
That was the way they were.
It's a good deal.
Oh, that was because they loved Jane.
Yeah.
And thought the world of Jane. Mm-hmm. You couldn't get that these days.
No.
And one of my mates, Dixie, I'll give you a shout out to Dixie. Everywhere I went, I would lay concrete. If it needed concrete, I put it down. I love concrete. And Dixie had his first wife. He was in the Navy. He worked on the Iroquois helicopters. He needed a pad put down. I went down there and helped him with the concrete. So for a wedding present, he brought me a big bag of concrete, dry cement. Mm-hmm. I'm walking around with this 50-kilo bag of cement on my shoulder, I think, at one stage, which I couldn't do now, as a joke gift. But I was happy. I got a bag.
You were like,
I got a bag of cement.
Best present ever.
It wasn't a toaster, it was a bag of cement. So it was a great night. But we went down to Merry Beach and walked in this old caravan that's on site, and on the bed are these beautiful kangaroo hides. This reminds me, I was going to take a photo. I was going to bring in the crocodile skin. I forgot to bring it.
Oh, yeah.
From the other job. So she's going, "Oh, this is wonderful." But we had a couple of days down there, and Barry was staying there as well, unbeknownst to us. He came down as well, lent us the place, but he came down and crashed the honeymoon.
Honeymoon? Barry, what are you thinking?
I don't know. Barry's going, so I've got a photo, and then we put out some lobster pots.
Oh.
He had some lobster pots. And the water was cold. It was still cold. It was only September. Mm-hmm. And he had a wetsuit that wouldn't fit me. I got this wetsuit half done up, and we had to go in to get these, and we got 6 beautiful
yum.
lobsters, undersize.
Oh.
Like big prawns. But we kept them and we ate them. I'm sorry, Fisheries Department.
Oh, no.
We ate them. They were fantastic. We had 2 each. And then we came back from our 5-day honeymoon and I started on the dog course.
Yep.
And do you know, 7 years later, I don't know where this came from. I came home one day, I said something about, she said, I'm sick of hearing about that dog. I went, Paul, where's this come from? We hadn't had a holiday.
Since the honeymoon.
For 7 years. We hadn't been away. I'd had a holiday, but I'd stayed home because of the dog. Mm-hmm. The dog, because I didn't want him going in kennels or anything like that. I went, oh, this has come out of nowhere. But it took us 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm sick of hearing about that dog. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Mm. So we eventually had a holiday.
Okay.
On the dog. It took a while. A couple of years later, my girls said they went on their first holiday. We went away to Queensland. Oh, I think they were quite young.
Yeah. But they were
But that's what you had to do.
Born.
You put up with.
Yeah.
You're dedicated to my dog.
Yep.
Dedicated to my duty. That's what counts.
Yep, so that's why you got in, because of those.
Yeah, well, the first couple of years it was easy because we didn't have kids.
Yeah.
And I could just run around chasing after crooks and didn't have to come home. Mm. Well, where have you been? Jane goes, you're supposed to have finished hours ago. Where have you been? Oh, a job came up and I just did this job. You know, is there any overtime? No, because I didn't get a catch, but, you know, dog. And then I'd come home after being out for a couple of hours and I'd got a catch and I'd want to wake her up and tell her. Because it's so exciting. You can't go to sleep. The dog tracked an offender. He got this offender. He might have got a bite or he got a person on premises, you know. And she's going, oh, my God. And she's got to get up to go to work. And I'm 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sort of nudging her going, oh, you're awake, are you?
Oh, poor Jane.
I just tell you about this job. She put up with
snapped.
a lot.
Yeah.
Now, no wonder why she threatened to stab me with a fork nowadays. Should have done it years ago.
She's got the boundaries up now. Mm. So you said in your book that just before you joined the dog squad, you weren't in your best shape.
No, I wasn't in my best shape.
Because you had just competed in the police and police law enforcement Olympics?
It was just called the Police Olympics back then.
Police Olympics.
And then it became the law enforcement and fire and police games now.
Oh, yep. Okay. And Jane also competed.
Yes, Jane was the number 3 squash player in Australia. Mm. She played with Margaret Court when she was when she was 14, 15, 16, under 18. She was Australian champion squash player.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And did she hurt her back?
Yes. So she was in the
Olympics?
police games in the squash and went for an overhead shot. And there were some really top players in that. I went to watch. And they had a guy there who was like number 3 or 4 from the Middle East somewhere, and he was like number 3 or 4 in the world.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not just in police, in the world squash.
in the world, exactly.
Jane was number 3 in Australia. She played number 3 with Margaret Court, who was 21 years or something, was the champion, Australian squash champion. Whole family played, but Jane was the best by far. And she hurt her back, did her back, and she ended up in hospital. Traction. Oh. Yeah, it ruined her, stopped the squash. So I competed in the karate competition at Homebush on the Saturday, and it was semi-contact, non-contact, semi-contact, but which wasn't really. It was, you got hit and you just had to wear it. It was supposed to be semi-contact, but accidents happened. Mm. And I broke this second finger on the ring finger on my left hand on this Hawaiian's head. And I strapped it up. I didn't do any good. Next day I turned up for the judo to compete in the judo. And I was fighting and it's in 5-year increments. So it's 30, you'll have, once you hit 30, it's 30 to 34, 35 to 39, 40 to 44, and so on and so on. Yep. And I was in the 30 to 34. I was I was there 32, and then they didn't have enough for each division, so they just lumped us all together. So the 20-year-olds were fighting the 30-year-olds, and there was a guy. There was 4 of us in my division. There was a guy from New Zealand, cops, Mark Nugent, only been the cop 6 months, and a lot of times, but he'd been living in Japan for 2 years doing judo. He was good. The other guy in my division, the weight division, was a guy who was the Thai Olympic representative. And I kid you not, this little tough Thai guy, and he had I laughed about it. I thought they looked like they cut his hair with a machete. He just had this
wild haircut.
Sticking up, just cut it off with the machete. There was me, and there was a guy from Birmingham, Alabama. So I was fighting with a broken finger. I strapped it up, and it was my left hand, and I saw that Mark Nugent. I got on pretty well with him, and I said, look, I knew I wasn't going to be any competition for him. He was 23, 24 something, strong judoka. I'm going, so we're trying to work on a technique I could do just one-handed. And then I fought the Thai Olympic guy, was mad. So I went up against Nugent, Mark. He threw me. And then I went up against the Thai fella. He dragged me over to the judges' table and threw me on the table from the mats, just to soften me up, which didn't count for anything, but they just picked their clock. They had an alarm timing clock. They just picked that up and moved me, slammed me onto the table. So then I came up against the poor guy from Alabama. And I went, I've got to beat somebody. So I got him down with a one-handed, like half-baked Taitoshi, and held him down for a whole down and got the point. So I got third, and I was so proud because I got this big bronze, the third place medal, and I've still got it, and it's got the red and it's got the yellow and gold. Now, this was 1988, which was the bicentennial year of Australia.
Yep.
So that's the first time that these police games been held out of North America.
Oh, okay.
Because they usually hold it in North America or Canada. So we had about 5,000 applicants come from all over the world. Big American contingent, Hong Kong, Hawaii, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea. The guys from Iran there, the Middle East, because I met the guys from the United Arab Emirates, that they were playing squash, and they just had money to burn. Their department had paid for everything, put them up in a big hotel. And if you wanted to go in it was being held at Homebush, the march, the parade, but you had to buy your own blazer in Australia if you wanted to march, and you had to buy this blazer for about $160. Well, I didn't know that, so I didn't go in that. You competed and you were on duty to compete.
Oh, okay.
Right, so they said you were on duty if you're competing in the games for those 2 days.
Yeah.
So my broken finger was counted as hurt on duty.
Oh.
So I was able to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Oh, the medic, I just went to the doctor, but the splint. So it's on my hurt on duty form.
Okay.
Hence the finger.
Oh, yeah.
You see it?
There's a big
lump
on the side.
Broke, and it was 2 fractures in the knuckle. It was double fracture on this knuckle.
So how long before you started your dog squad training was the Olympics?
It was a couple of weeks after was the selection course.
Okay.
And I'd hurt my knees were crook. I'd been in the D, so I wasn't doing a lot of training. I was still teaching judo, trying to get fit for judo, but I wasn't as fit as I should have been, and my knees were playing up. I always had a problem with my knees. And I apologised for that. He goes, you're not keeping up on the run. I said, my knees are playing up. I've heard him playing judo.
And you did say it was pretty hot weather. And
yeah, it was hot weather.
You were staying in some guy's garage.
I was staying in the garage because I was living at Camden, and I wasn't going to drive to Sinai's every day. So me and the guy that I trained as, I was his buddy, named Anthony. he wanted to get in the highway patrol, and they were running a selection course for highway patrol because the highway patrol, the driver training is at the same place.
Okay.
So we, through another cop, I somehow, I don't know, got on through the cop, Bush Telegraph, got onto a bloke who said, you can stay in my garage that's I've converted. It's got a bed and, in there. So we camped in there between us, me and Anthony.
So how long did the selection
A week, 5 days.
Oh, I just
Monday to Friday.
And it was 8 people and 2 got through.
Yeah, 8 people and 2 got selected.
You were one
3,
of the 2.
Well, one of the guy, Tony, he was running in front of me. We're running on bush tracks through St Ives there, and he turned this corner and he twisted his ankle. Bang! He went down. His ankle was blown out. It was black and purple, but he just continued to try and run. So he didn't make that selection, but he got selected later on.
Oh, okay.
The other guys, there was me and another guy who ended up getting killed in the Bull Eye. He left the cops and became a miner and got killed in the Bull Eye mine.
Oh, no.
Disaster a few years later. Very nice fella, good soccer player. But having said that, he made the selection. Then he got a dog. He lived down at Shell Harbour down here, and said his wife was allergic to dogs when they got the dog at home and had to pull the pin.
Oh,
so
no.
He took up a spot, in his spot, it was, then they go to the next person.
Yeah.
That was may have been, but yeah, which was a shame. Then he left the cops and got killed.
It's awful.
In a mine disaster. 2 of them, I think, killed in a mine disaster. Yeah, would have been better off staying. But his wife, I don't know whether he just said, I don't know whether it was true or not, his wife was allergic to dogs.
Jane should have thought of that.
No, she knew. No, she knew. She backed me no matter what I did.
Yeah.
She backed me. She, that's what you want to do, you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with the D's. If you want to do it, you want to do the dog squad, you want to do it. You want to jump off that building, do it.
I'll fully support you.
I'll support you. Just don't expect me to sympathy if anything goes wrong.
You deal with the consequences.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of times I've got badly bitten one day, and they rang her to tell her, and she said, "No, you play with dogs, you get bitten."
Yep.
No sympathy.
All right, Rog. So you got married after you'd been on the selection course.
Yes.
We've heard about that. Had your beautiful honeymoon.
Yeah. Yep.
And then started the course straight after, which was part-time at first, and then went to full-time.
Then full-time in 89. We passed out in 89.
Yep. Okay. And then, now we get into all the good stuff where you get to pick up the dog. No,
yeah, I'll pick up
I don't care about the cook. No, the dogs.
Oh, you get the dogs.
Everyone loves the dogs.
Dogs, yes, you get a dog.
Yeah. We might
talk about that later.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it there.
So
and we'll get into the training and the
selection and the dogs and doing all that. That'll be great.
Yeah, next week.
Next time.
Sounds good. You. Thanks, Roger.
Thanks, Deb. Thanks again. Thanks everyone.
For coming.
Bye.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed episode 11 of Tall Tales and True. We heard about Roger's early days in the New South Wales Police Force, including a short foray into the detective unit where he quickly realised that wasn't for him. He then proceeded with his path into the dog unit, and shortly after his marriage to Jane, he began his training, and that's where we'll pick up next episode. Hope to see you then. Bye for now. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to the show so you don't miss what's coming next. We'd love it if you could leave us a review. It really helps more than you think. Got a story, question, or something you want us to unpack on the show? Send it through. We read them all. And come hang out with us on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Just search for us and say hi. If you like this episode, share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and even your dog. Especially your dog. They've probably heard worse podcasts anyway. See you next time.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Five Islands Pest Solutions, servicing the Illawarra and Shoalhaven. If you've got spiders, cockroaches, rodents, or any other unwanted guests, Five Islands Pest Solutions has you covered. You can find them on Facebook or Instagram, or just search Five Islands Pest Solutions online. give them a call on 0424 158 828. Because Roger spent years dealing with pests on the streets, now our sponsors deal with the ones in your house.